Hi, I'm Susan Kennedy of Pretty Peaceful, and today I want to show you the Lively blanket, which is a new pattern I designed for Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one yarn. I'm not sure if it's Red Heart all-in-one Granny Square or Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one, but for this beautiful self-striping yarn that's new at the end of 2023 here. And this is a very easy beginner crochet blanket. I'll step back to show you the whole thing here. It uses 2 skeins of this Red Heart Granny Square yarn, and the finished size is about 37 inches square. So a good size for a baby blanket or kids blanket. And if you want to make it longer, you can add a 3rd skein of this yarn. So the Lively blanket is a free crochet pattern you can download from Ravelry.com. I have a lot of free patterns there. And it's a very simple pattern, just 2 pages. It's in color, but I printed out in black and white to save ink here. It's a very short pattern because it's a very simple blanket. This blanket is made in moss stitch. It's basically a repeating single crochet chain 1 pattern. And I used an 8mm hook for this. My trusty Susan Bates 8mm L11 hook. Now this is quite a bit bigger than the 5.5mm hook that Red Heart recommends for this yarn for doing granny squares. This is a worsted weight yarn, but you kind of need a bigger hook here to give nice drape to the blanket. I think if you did moss stitch with this yarn with a 5.5mm hook, it would turn out really thicker drape, more like a rug. So go up on your hook size, 8mm. If you don't have 8mm, you can try 6.5, or you could try 10. It would work with both of those. So we're using 2 skeins here, and you can add a 3rd to get a longer one. And it's very simple. The pattern is just single crochet, chain 1, and you work the single crochets into the chain space from the row below. So I started with 108 stitches across here, my lucky number. And I got 112 rows out of 2 skeins. And when the first skein ran out, I joined the next skein, just pulling from the middle. It doesn't matter if the color that you ended on doesn't match the color that you're starting on. And I like to use a Russian join technique to join the old skein to the new skein. And that's kind of where you sew the yarn tail back on itself and sew the new yarn tail back on itself to really make a seamless transition so you don't have any ends poking up. And the pattern PDF here does have a video tutorial for the Russian join method. So a very easy blanket, and it's called the Lively blanket because of the way that it stripes. It just looks really like exciting. It stripes a little bit differently than the double crochet blanket I made, the Dream Valley blanket in this yarn. It's a little bit more delicate striping, and it didn't really create that valley down the center like in the Dream Valley blanket. It's interesting though, you know, the color did pool up a little bit on the sides. You know, I got these sections of like pink and white and then sections of more orange and yellow. So it's really fun to see how this turned out. So a very simple pattern, and I'm going to show you how to get started here. The first 3 rows, and then after that you just repeat row 3. Very simple. Okay, I'm going to be showing you how to get started in the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one yarn in the soft white citrus twist colorway. And there are 2 ways to start this blanket. Basically, we want to create a row of single crochet stitches. So you can do that however you like to. You can make a row of chains and then single crochet into those chains, or you can use the foundation single crochet technique, which is a little bit more advanced, but it's really very simple. There's a video in the pattern PDF showing you how to do that. But I'm going to show you the easier way. So we make a slip knot and put it on our hook, and we create a row of chains. You can create any even number of chains here. So for the blanket I showed you, that's 37 inches square or 94 centimeters square. You'd chain 110. Now to show you how to get started, I just chained 10 here. So you'd end up with 109 single crochet stitches per row for that sample, but you can have any odd number of stitches per row, like I said. So we're going to begin by single crocheting into the second chain from the hook. So here's the first chain from the hook. There's the second chain from the hook. We're going to work a single crochet stitch. So insert the hook into the chain, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over and pull through both loops there. So we have one single crochet in US terms. Now we go to the next chain. We're going to single crochet in each chain across. You can crochet into just one loop of the chain like I'm doing here. You can crochet into that back bump if you prefer, but we're going to keep it simple here. Single crochet into each chain down the line until we get back to where we started. So if you're following the pattern, you would have 109 single crochet stitches in your first row. Here I only have 9, just to make it easier to show you here. I know I said the blanket has 108 stitches a few minutes ago, but it's really 109. Okay, so now here's where we start the moss stitch pattern. We're going to turn our work. We're going to chain 2, and this is going to count, the first chain is going to count as the first single crochet, and the second chain counts as the first chain 1. Let me get myself a little more slack here. So now we are going to single crochet in the third stitch from the hook. So here's our first stitch, it's the one right below the chains. There's the second stitch, we're going to skip that one, and we're going to crochet into the third stitch here. Single crochet. And now the repeating pattern starts. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next one. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next one. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next one, which should be the last stitch for your 109th stitch there. It's just my 9th stitch. So there's row 2. And now the whole rest of the blanket is going to repeat row 3. So here's how that goes. We're going to chain 2. And we're going to single crochet into this first chain 1 space from the row 2. And then chain 1 and single crochet into that next chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet into that next chain space. Chain 1. Now here we're coming to the end of the row. We're not going to crochet into that last chain space. We're going to skip that last chain space, and instead we're going to crochet into the top of this chain 2 that started the previous row. So that's our last stitch, goes into the top of the starting chain from the previous row. So there's row 3. So really you only have to pay attention to the start and the end of the row. So each row starts with the chain 2. You crochet, single crochet into that very first chain space. And repeat that pattern. Chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 1. Skip that last space here, and instead we're going to crochet into the top of that chain 2 that started the previous row. So that way you keep your stitch number constant. Here I'm going to have 9 in each row instead of 109. And if you're counting your stitches, you can count that first chain 2, and then each single crochet in chain 1 counts as a stitch. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'd have 109 in your regular row. So that's it. You just single crochet chain 1. You can really get into the groove with this. Just crocheting into the chain spaces. They're a bigger target to hit than just crocheting into a single crochet. So it makes it go pretty quickly. And this big hook makes things go pretty quickly too. Just make sure you skip that last chain space and work your last single crochet into the top of that chain 2 that started the previous row. Thanks for joining me, and happy crocheting. I hope you love your Lively blanket.